MTE is a rapidly growing 2-ounce supplement and drink that supports peak performance and feeling good the right way by replacing excessive caffeine with proven adaptogen and nootropics that provides all the energy and focus benefits of excessive caffeine, but without any of the pitfalls like jitters and insomnia. The formula also supports a calm mood, stress response, inflammation response, immunity, and better sleep at night. Go to getmte.com, getmte.com. Use the code TheDink15. That's all caps, TheDink15. And that'll give you guys 15% off your first order. That's code TheDink15 at getmte.com.
So what does that's an interesting thing. Like, what does a top pickleball singles and doubles player look like 10 years from now?
Oh, that is anyone's guess. Gosh, I would really like to know this because there's just so many factors, right? Like, you have all these tennis players, and it's not that tennis isn't the best sport for transition, but I can't say I know that for sure because we don't have enough sample size to say really high level table tennis players and kind of what they can contribute, or like a combination of table tennis and tennis or badminton or whatever. Obviously, I think singles, it's hard to argue that tennis is not the best background. I think mostly it'll just look like longer guys that can cover the net better. I mean, when you got like a 6'6" wingspan, it is tough to pass anybody or even drop on them. So I think there's that, and then they can, as long as they have good movement side to side,
like a Daniil Medvedev type of guy, like
it's gotta be just filthy. Like
right.
it'd be crazy.
Like it's quick and long.
Yeah, I mean, you can say quickness is great, but pure length on a court that size, net coverage, it's hard to beat. Like, quick doesn't matter when you get past.
Exactly.
Right?
So somebody like Frank Anthony Davis is unbelievably fast, but
it only matters at the baseline.
Exactly. It matters from the baseline.
Or if you're playing cat and mouse.
To a lesser extent than it does from the net as well. Like, he might be able to track some crazy stuff down, but like with
straight up
one
passes, lunging is not.
You're not
nobody
that I've ever seen is quick enough to just to go get their feet in position for a passing shot.
Just
right?
doesn't. It doesn't.
No matter how fast you are, you can't be quick enough, as quick as somebody's reach. Right.
Yeah. So I think that is the more obvious answer for singles. Just long, good tennis movement, good tennis strokes. You're still gonna have some cat and mouse, I think, which will make the game look cool, but it'll be definitely, I think, more aggressive and less grinding up there. Just more like, flicking more almost clean winners off of a lot of balls at the line. More of a setup shot. Doubles is more the mystery to me. I'd be like, well, tennis background's great, but I think they're going to have to definitely add a lot of things like we see in today's game, plus more things. I feel like my thing is we're going to see more grip changes. Not grip changes, period, but more like, okay, I use this grip for this position. I'm hitting, drives like this. I'm hitting attacks like this. I'm hitting counters like this. You're going to see a lot of this stuff.
Hitting tomahawks like this.
Yeah, you're going to see tomahawks. You're going to see coverage of anything that comes upwards at you with, a pancake and whatever you want to call this one. Scorpion. There's just going to be a lot of different ways to cover, because I think people are realizing more and more, in contrast like tennis, where you're traditionally you're here, backhand, forehand. It's like when the court in doubles is only 10 feet wide, coverage is a little different than you might expect, especially when the down to up comes. So I think a good example is like Riley. Riley's so good at covering stuff.
The down to up meaning like a low ball being attacked upwards towards you.
Right. So he, for instance, when the ball is low, he's on forehand. When the ball is down, he's on backhand. What's funny is they're almost like reverse of each other. This only goes down. This only goes up. So he's almost doing the reverse of what he's seeing on the other side. So that is less about left and right and more about up and down. And of course, it's not that simple. There is times where he's still going to hit a backhand, even if it's coming upwards. But it's interesting to think about how that dynamic changes from what you'd traditionally consider anything tennis-like form-wise.
So tangent, but do you think that Riley would be a better pickleball player today if he had a more traditional game? Because I look at him and he has unbelievably fast hands, and I don't know whether it's because of his grip or because of his natural ability. But one of the things that limits him is his inability to really speed up super effectively off the ground on his forehand side. and the reach with your two-handed backhand is not nearly as good as reaching in with a one-hander.
Sure. Yeah, so that's definitely hard to answer because of how players respond to it, right? I think Riley is a fairly unique game style that players struggle to play against. Now, if you saw a bunch of players that played like him, maybe people would adapt to it more. Short answer, I think he is better as a player overall if he's like he is and adds other stuff, whereas it's harder to play more traditionally and add what he has.
Right,
I would
right.
take the more unique intrinsic thing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've wondered about that.
It's an interesting question,
Like,
for sure. If you're coaching somebody, how do you coach them? You're like, all right, start off like Riley, then add these shots, and then, get a little bit of this player. It's like, what is your perfect creation, right? If you can take a little bit of whatever you want.
Sure. So like, does he talking about your grip changes, right? Like, does he change his grip for a forehand speed up, or should he think about changing his grip for a forehand speed up? Should he think about taking a one-handed thing
I think every player can consider changing some stuff, whether it's grip or shots or otherwise, where it doesn't feel natural to add, but hey, you have the time to add it. So why not add some new tricks? And those changes may be more dramatic than we think in the future once people figure out a little more fundamentally what pickleball is about and what benefits you the best.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I think I have a hard time believing that anything is better than tennis for ground strokes. Yeah. But I have a hard time believing that tennis is the best for net play. In fact, I would be almost certain that it's not, right? It's some combination of I think tennis, badminton, and table tennis, right? Where you can learn a little bit from everything. Like there's no
an enormous blend.
Yeah, there's been no elite badminton player really take this seriously except for Henry Winardo. Mm-hmm. And Henry Winardo is a guy that can make people look so dumb.
Oh, it was
when
crazy.
He sets up for a backhand.
Remember his
like
backhand,
this?
you'd be flinching before he'd even hit it, and then sometimes it would be a drop shot this far over the net, and then other times it'd be at your chest, and then it'd be a lob. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, well, I hope to God this guy never becomes seriously good off the bounce, because anything out of the air, he was deadly.
Right.
Just deadly.
So basically this guy was a really, really high level
top 5 singles
player.
In
and
the world.
He could hold his paddle right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, okay, he's gonna dink it. And then you just get murdered with the ball.
He
can snap his wrist from here to here,
right.
2-inch snap.
Incredible velocity.
And hit the ball harder than I can with a full swing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like the tomahawk phenomenon where, you can do your wrist like this a lot faster than you can like this. Hendry could move his backhand faster like this than I could do a forehand like this. It was just shocking. And when you're used to seeing backhands being a dink for that position, and suddenly it's at your chest, it was trippy.
Yeah, so there's something there. I think a lot of the movement patterns from table tennis actually are closer to
at the line.
At the line,
a lot of shuffling, a lot of moving around one backhand or forehand. Definitely a little different than tennis movement there. Yeah, I agree with you.
That'll be interesting to see. What are you going to look like in 2033?
2033. I don't think I'll be playing pickleball anymore. I might still be watching it, but
no, what are you going to be? You're going to be in